Okay, sorry to keep you waiting. We're ready to go. Mr. Musa'id will start to introduce me, and I'm introducing Mr. Musa'id. Yeah, that's fair, isn't it?
Thank you. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We'd like just to introduce the last session for our forum this evening for English ELDB, English Language Development Project. We will be with Mr. Steve. I think we lost about 15 minutes, so it will be a quick introduction. Mr. Steve started his ELT career in Egypt, and he has been involved in English language education for over 30 years. So he has at least 30 years of experience in teaching English and education. He worked in many years in many countries in the Middle East and even in the Far East. He wrote many books. He is a writer, examiner, teacher, trainer, and etc. So I think we can start.
I also make jokes as well.
Jokes. Okay.
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Musa'id. Okay, so what's the title? So, one more word. Hard. Why is English spelling so hard? Do you agree? Is English spelling hard? Yes or no? No. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a test. You said no, so I'm going to see how good your spelling is to start off, to give you an example. Okay, but before I give you your test, I think English spelling is hard. I disagree with you. I think we have to ask ourselves two questions. Is it possible to learn to spell well in English? And do we need to learn to spell in English? If we do need to spell, how difficult is the problem of learning to spell in English? And then I look at some of the errors we make, and finally how we can help our students to learn spelling better. Okay, so here are 18 English words. Some of them are correctly spelled and some of them are incorrectly spelled. Your job is to identify the incorrectly spelled words. Can I give you 1 minute to do that? So read them. It's probably better to work together to see if you work in pairs. So I don't know if you two gentlemen could sit next to each other. Can you two work together? Can you two work together? Can you two gentlemen work together? And you two gentlemen work together. By the way, it's not only a problem that affects people learning English. Approximately in the UK, approximately 20% of people are classified as poor spellers, or are functionally they cannot spell at all. So only 80% of first language speakers are good or better or average spellers. How many are wrong, Fabio? Is there? Oh, okay, it was badly chosen then. Okay, so my first question is, how many are right and how many are wrong? Well, you have 18 words. No, we'll do that after. First of all, how many are wrong and how many are right? Approximately. Is it 16 right and 2 wrong? Is it 4 wrong and 16 right? Okay, I'll give you a little bit of help because time is short. 9 are right and 9 are wrong.
I think it's 9.
Yeah, it is. I just told you that. You're telling me the same answer I gave you. You're not allowed to do that. Okay, yeah. 9 are right and 9 are wrong. Okay, have a look. Let's see. those ones are right, and those ones are... This one, a lot of people get that wrong. It's T-R-U. When we add L-Y, the E is missed. Okay. Do you have a pen with you? Okay. Are your ears working now? What kind of activity is that? Is it a spelling activity? As a teacher, what kind of activity is that? When I say, look at these words, tell me which are right and tell me which are wrong.
Spelling.
Well, it's not exactly a spelling word, because in the spelling I say, here is a word, you spell this word. I gave you the word. I didn't ask you to spell it. I asked you to checking. It's a checking activity. Okay? So I gave you a checking activity. Which is easier, a spelling activity or a checking activity?
Checking.
Why is checking, in my view, I agree, I think checking is easier. Why? Because you have half the problem in front of you. Somebody produced it and you are checking it. Here, you have half the if you like, you have half the solution.
It's easy to remember the spelling
Okay.
of a word.
If you see it. Okay. Now I'm going to give you the opposite. I'm going to say a word, and I want you, please, to write the word. So compare the difficulty between checking and dictation. Okay? Your words are, there are 13 words. Most of them are fairly easy. First one is success. Success. Please write the word success. Yeah, please. In dictation, traditionally we write the words that the teacher says. Number 2, decision. Please write. I like my students to fast. Help. I can't move. I'm going to take this off. It's okay. We don't need You can hear me without the microphone, can you? Oh, there's the lady.
Excuse me?
My leg is stuck. I'm a prisoner. I don't want to... Number 3, executive.
Excuse me?
Yeah?
Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm coming. Sorry.
We can't
I'm a-
hear you with that the
Yeah.
mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
Would you repeat the third word,
Yeah,
please?
I forgot about you. I'm going to have to make sure my jokes are good jokes for ladies and for gentlemen. Excuse me. Are you dictating, ladies? Are you dictating? Are you writing these words? 3 is executive.
Okay.
Executive. Success. Okay, so success, decision, executive. Number 4 is a new word for you, lucidity. Quite a regular word. Lucidity. I'm not telling you. Write it. Lucidity. Number 2 is decision.
Lucidity.
Lucidity. Number 5, after lucidity, this is how you feel. Anxiety. 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 The noun from anxious. Yeah. Number 6 is opportunity. Opportunity. Number 7 is conscience. Conscience. They're getting more difficult. We start with the easier ones, go on to more difficult ones. Number 8, possession. Some people went to school and learnt this rhyme. Possess possesses more S's than Mississippi possesses. So if you remember that, you remember how to spell possession. Number 9, medieval. Medieval. Now look at these two gentlemen. You see they're cheating. They're cooperating with one another. See, it's not just people who are learning English, it's also English people who have difficulty with spelling. Okay, number 10 is... Oh, you're not cheating, okay. Now, next one is belligerent. Belligerent. No, belligerent. It means somebody who likes fighting. Belligerent. Again, a regular English word, really. Number 11. What's the word which means you wear a uniform which is painted so it's the same colour? You know, soldiers wear what kind of uniform? Do you know, beginning with C? Camouflage, okay? Camouflage. I'm giving these gentlemen a dictation. Number 12, we're nearly finished, 2 more. Number 12, acquiescence. 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 It means to agree. To acquiesce is a noun meaning to agree with something. Acquiescence is the noun. Number 13, are your ears ready? One of the longest words in the English language. Do you know what it's going to be? No, it's not that. It's, yeah, good, well done. It's actually, it's a bit longer. Listen carefully, please. Anti-disestablishmentarian. Anti-disestablishmentarian. I changed it a bit. I made it. An anti-disestablishmentarian is the person. Okay. Now, I'm not going to. We're fairly pressing, so I can't do it. Here they are. You can check your own work. Now you see the lucidity. How many people know the meaning of that? What is the meaning of lucidity? It means clarity or being clear at something. But it's quite regular in its spelling. Anxiety. Opportunity is quite regular. You should have that right, I think. Conscience is getting a bit more difficult. Possession, possesses more S's than Mississippi possesses, if you can't remember how many S's. Medieval, yeah?
Possession or position?
Possession, that's right.
I write it position.
How did you write it?
Position.
Oh,
Position.
well, you're... Did I say possession or position? Yeah, it's a vowel sound confusion. I definitely said this word. Listen to the two together. Position, possession. Position, possession. Okay? Medieval, belligerent.
What's the meaning of belligerent?
Means somebody who likes fighting. Yeah. Like a violent person, exactly. Camouflage. Acquiescence is quite a difficult word to spell. The difficulty here is the AC. And then anti-disestablishmentarian. How many people got 13 out of 13? Okay. Okay. These are two exceptional persons. You give this test to an ordinary English person, I guarantee, I promise you 100% they will not get all these words correct. These are quite difficult words, most of them. So, that's the problem of spelling. English spelling is not very regular. So, you have to ask yourself, in the modern world, do we actually need to learn to spell? And a second question, is it possible to learn to spell? Is English spelling so difficult that we can't learn to spell? Well, here are some arguments. Some people say we don't need to teach spelling. You give people English, they will learn to spell. We don't actively need to teach spelling. Another point is, how much English do ordinary people actually write every day? I mean, English teachers write English, but is anybody not an English teacher here? What's your job, sir, please? Of English? Oh, you study in English, so you have to write English quite a lot. Anybody? Okay. But the average person in the street, for example, you know, I don't know, a ticket collector does not write English very much. What is the most useful skill for your students to learn, do you think? What do they use most? Is it reading, writing, speaking, or speaking? Probably speaking and listening are more important than certainly than writing. Okay, so maybe in our classes we want more time to focus on speaking and listening instead of teaching spelling. If we drop spelling, we will have more time in class to do other skills. And also technology is helping us with spelling. How? Computer correction, any other ways? When you on your phone, how does that help? On your phone, when you text on your phone, what help does your phone give you with spelling? Yeah, not only does it correct, but it also is predict. If you put in the word, for example, TH, it will predict the next letter is going to be the letter E. It's called predictive texting. And now there is voice software. So if I say, computer, spell anti-disestablishmentarian, the computer can translate that from sound and print the word anti-disestablishmentarian on the computer. So I don't need to learn to spell it. The computer will tell me how to spell it. So we don't need... Why bother? Why waste our time? Also, can we learn to spell in English really well? What is the main problem in learning to spell English? No, pronunciation is different from spelling, isn't it? Okay, that process, when you add the other, yes, the pronunciation is different from the writing, we call that sound and symbol correspondence in English. So the sound and the letter we use to represent it are very different. Can you give me some examples?
It's also the spelling is inconsistent.
Also the spelling is inconsistent, so the same sound can have different spelling. Okay?
That's right.
Can you give me some examples of, for example, the letter C can be pronounced
As
sh or k or s? One quick example. Okay. Also, there's larger variation. Some people can learn to spell very easily, very quickly. Other people can never learn to spell. So with some people you don't have to teach them. Other people you can teach them, but they can never learn. Not everybody likes spelling. You tell your students, I'm going to do spelling today. Are they happy? No. In general, they're not. They go, they're either afraid or bored. Sometimes there's a lack of material in our teaching materials to help students learn spelling. Sometimes teachers are not confident in how to teach spelling. So, those are the arguments again. I don't believe them. I believe we must learn to spelling. I believe that English spelling system works in some ways, and I believe that also it's required learning. The ministry says we have to learn to spell. If they say that, we have to teach it. Also, literacy skills are important in themselves. The skill of using a dictionary, learning how to write, learning how to spell. Also, technology, as you will see with my computer, technology is not always a solution. Technology provides answers, but creates problems as well. And sometimes we have to learn spelling because it is good for us. You know, why do we do this? Well, it's good for you. Learn it. Don't tell. I'm not going to tell you. I just learn it. It's good for you. Why do you? Many things are good for you to learn. And also, when we learn spelling, we can do these. We can do all these things. Excuse me. I've lost the computer. Right. Okay. I made the ladies laugh. That's good. Okay. So we've got all those things, but in the end, we have to do spelling. Okay. I've got two words now. You mentioned the problem of pronunciation. Here are two words. How do you read them? Right. Okay. The first one and the second one. Should. Okay. No, you're wrong. Actually, number one says fish, and number two says quit. Do you believe me? No. I'll show you by the rules of English spelling. Okay. How do we spell laugh? At the end is GH. So here we have the GH from laugh to give us the first letter of fish. How do we spell chemist? Okay, so here in quit, the sound is spelt with CH. Okay? What about the middle letter? So we've got f-I. The I sound in Egypt is Y. So we've got GHY. Okay, so it's not git, it's f-I. How do we get T? How do we get T to say the sound SH? No, treasure is T. Yeah. Okay. ايش نسمي البلد أو الوطن بالإنجليزي؟ ايش كلمة وطن بالإنجليزي? Country, or another word? Home, or another one beginning with the letter N? How do we spell nation? N-A-T. What's the sound of the letter T? Sh. So, laugh is spelled G-H. We get G-H for fish, Y, and we get T as in nation. So that's how we spell fish, G-H-Y-T. And same one in quit. We've got W sound as in suave. We've got I as in woman. Women plural is spelled W-O-M-E-N. But the pronunciation is wi, is I. Same as in quit. Okay.
How the letter SH, how does it came?
Well, look at nation. Nation.
With the YT.
Well, look. In Egypt, this sound as I. Egypt. This is laugh. F. I. Sh. According to the rules of English. I can compare one word and say the spelling is the sound is like that. Yeah.
The combination is P-I-O-N, we know that it is shell.
Yeah.
Nation,
Yeah.
and so on.
Yeah.
But we can say that P is
Okay, what are you doing? You're giving me some extra rules, aren't you? Why can't we have GH as for fish? What's the rule here? GH means F only when it is at the end of... Now, did you know that rule in English? No. Enough or cuff. Yeah. You've got it up here, but not everybody knows that if it means fur at the end of the word, maybe at the beginning of the word, it can also mean fur. Another example of the sound symbol correspondence. Okay. Here are some of the variations of the word, the letter A. Now, when we introduce the letter A in primary school, what sound do we say to our students? It makes ah. So, in a logical spelling system, if you say the letter A gives you the sound ah, then that's easy to learn, isn't it? Every time you say ah, you've got the letter A. But in actual fact, when you look at the letter A in lots and lots of words, only 25% of the words, so a quarter of the words, the letter is pronounced A. In other words, the letter A has a completely different pronunciation. In 25%, what's the sound in about? Schwa sound. And the schwa sound is what sound? So, 25%, when your students see the letter A, it's not but Think of, it's yellow and we eat it. What word am I thinking of? Banana. Okay. How many A's in banana? Three. Okay. What is the sound of the A's? The first sound is B, so it's schwa. Second sound is ah. Third sound is We've got three A's. None of them are like the sound in cat. Okay, here are some more examples. 20% is R as in car or calm or card. 10% is A as in day or pay. 5% is or as in small or air as in care. Yeah?
When we have A vowel, we say old. Small, old, cold.
Yeah, but the vowel sound, the A, is or, isn't it? K, or, l. So the sound itself is the phonetic or. So
we try to detect some rules, like K, A, E, and we have a consonant letter between them.
yeah, you try to, but it's a very, from the example A, if you do the same thing with I, if you do the same thing with O, if you do the same thing with U, you will see this letter, how many sounds does it represent? Many. Here we've got examples of 8 different sounds from only one letter. Okay, let's do it the opposite way around now. Look at the phonemic symbol. Okay. How many different ways can you think of to spell the sound in English? For example, in the sound her, as in her bag, how do we spell it? Her house. Okay, well, and the sound is spelled E-R. Okay? Can you think of other ways we I-R? For example, in the word bird. So we can have E-R, we can have I-R. Any other ways? Yeah, good, heard. Spelled H-E-A-R. So we've got E-R, I-R, E-A-R. Any other examples? Good. Can you give me a word? Heard, as in what? Oh, heard, yes. As you've got a pain or turn, something like that. So we've got I-R-E-R, O-U-R, U-R. Well, here are some more. We've got E-A-R as in earth, E-R as in her, E-R-E as in were, in stress form, I-R as in bird, O-R, you didn't mention, as in worth. We've even got some more. We've got U-R as in burn, and a slightly dubious one, braggart, somebody who boasts a lot. Who says, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm fantastic, is a braggart. Arrogant person, yeah. Okay, so we had one letter A, we had 8 different sounds. Here we've got one sound. Look at how many different ways we can spell it. So you can see from this that the sound, going from the sound to the letter, or going from the letter to the sound, is a very complex operation for your students. Now, a number of years ago, I did a sample of Arabic learners of English. I gave them a lot of dictation to analyze how well they can spell in English. 80% is correct, 20% of their words were wrong, approximately. What our students find difficult to do is much more writing vowels than writing consonants. So, what does that mean for teachers? If they teach spelling, they should spend more time teaching the vowels and less time teaching the consonants, because the correspondence between consonant and sound is much clearer in English than the correspondence between vowel and sound. If you remember, we just discussed that. And there are also other kinds of mistakes, not just mistakes of vowels or consonants. For example, a lot of Arabic students reverse letters. So instead of saying B-I-R-D, they might write B-R-I-D. They turn it round. So that's the scale of the problem. There are a lot of problems. It's difficult to learn. So how do we teach it? How do we learn to spell?
For me, I'm a teacher for kids, for
young kids.
Children,
Yeah.
Primary 3 and primary 4.
Yeah.
So I do my best to improve their spelling skill by making spelling as a game in class.
Okay.
So
Please can I stop you there? Because my question is not how do you teach spelling. My question is how do we learn spelling? It's a different question. By remembering it. That's the key thing. We've got to remember it. That memory, what we remember, is divided in 2 parts. We have to remember the sound and we have to remember the shape of the letter. So that in spelling there are always those 2 components of putting the things together. So I'll give you a word you don't know and then think to yourself what's happening in your mind. Okay. Listen, you're not going to. It's a very short word, so it's got 4 letters in. It's a perfectly regular word, but I know you're going to give me the wrong vowel. Okay. Dint. Okay. The word is dint. Can you say that? Dint. Again. Dint. Again, please. Dint. Okay. So now give me the spelling. How do we spell it? First letter? D. Good. Second letter? No. I's. Again, there's that confusion in the vowel. Third letter? N. And last letter? T. Okay. So you started off by remembering the meaning, except I didn't teach you the meaning. The meaning you know, sometimes when two cars hit each other at slow speed, it just gives cap. The two cars go like that. And there's a very small pushing in of the car, not a big one. That's called a dint in my car. Okay, so we remember the meaning. Then the second stage, we've got to remember the sound. So what did I do? I asked you to repeat dint, dint, dint. Because you can't, if you don't know the sound, you can't spell, can you? And then, in your mind, you segment the word. Segment means to divide it into parts. Which parts? You're dividing it into the different... I'll come in a minute, yeah. The different syllables. But no, smaller than a syllable, you're dividing it into the sound. Yes, sir. Yeah. 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 Yes, I agree. So when you're teaching spelling, either teach to either choose to teach American spelling or choose to speak British spelling. It will confuse your students if you mix the two systems together. And the differences are not that, you know, there are some words, but then it's not that big. It's not a big deal. Okay. So we divide the words and then into sounds, and then we change the sound into a graphic symbol, or another word, a letter. Yeah. So we go from sound to letter. And then we are ready to spell the word. But when we spell the word, we must make sure we say the letters in the correct order. So if I'm saying, for example, cat, I must make sure I say C-A-T. If I get the order wrong and I say A-C-T, I get the word act. So the order of the letters and the order of the sound is also a very important thing in spelling. Okay. Here is a diagram of it. So you start from the word which is in your long-term memory. Are you familiar with the terms long-term and short-term memory? Short-term is you just remember it for a minute and then you forget it. Long-term is it's stored in your brain, it's in your memory. And as we learn spelling, it gradually develops within us. So at the very beginning, we can't spell at all. And then we go through a semi-phonetic, we know some of the words, some of the sounds, then we become a phonetic speller. A phonetic speller knows one sound and one way to write it. So if you say cat, he can go k-a-t. But if you say the word king, he will go C-I-N-G. He won't go K-I-N-G, because he doesn't know that one sound has two different letters, two different ways of writing it. And then finally, we become efficient spellers, and then in the very end, we become completely correct spellers. So at primary or elementary school, probably your students will be phonetic spellers. They don't know how to spell it correctly, but they know one letter to say. And there are, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to skip that bit. That's not so important. Here's some examples of the kind of mistakes that students make. What happened? What kind of... Yeah, it's a T instead of D. So what mistake has the student made? He's confused with a D with T. Okay. What mistake did the student make here?
Number 2,
sorry, yeah. Number 2. What's the mistake with? It's a capital mistake. So he's not following the rules of English spelling. What's the rule? When we write I, we must write a capital. Okay. What's the mistake in number 3? A missing letter. Yeah. Okay. What's the mistake in number 4? No. Number 4. Yeah. So So what do we call that kind of mistake? The position, yes, are reversed letters. Okay. What about number 5? No. Okay. Okay. He doesn't want to say may. He wants to say might. Might. So a missing. No, not just one letter. A missing sound. Yes, he missed the sound t. So it should say, "I'm afraid we might be attacked soon." And then, what's wrong with attacked? What kind of mistake is that? I know the C is missing.
There is a trick.
It's not. Yes. So
We need to add
CK. So what's the rule you should? What rule do the teacher?
the sound K, so they thought it is not right K.
Good. So what rule must the teacher be helping the students to learn? At the end of a word, not CH, at the end of the word, K sound is often written CK. Like, for example, track or back. But immediately you give a rule, you think of the word book. How do we spell book? B-O-O-K, not C-K. So again, we try to help our students, but the system always, makes it difficult for them. But one rule we can know is we never start a word CK. We can only start it K or C. CK is only at the end of a word. And that just summarizes the mistake. Okay, so I'm going to have to go through this very quickly. We've seen that the system is very difficult, but as teachers, it's not good enough to say, oh, English spelling is difficult. We have got to try and help our students to actually learn the spelling. So, ideas that work. One idea that works, which helps good spellers, is just simply say exposure. Give them a lot of reading and they will learn from that reading. Another method is simply you give them a list of words and say memorize them, learn the spelling of these words. Two other methods are called the whole word approach and the phonic approach. They're opposite. The whole word approach, you show the whole word, they look at it and remember the shape of the word. In the phonic approach, it's based on phonics, so you divide the word into its sound and they build it up. So one is you start with the word and you learn it, the other is you start with the sounds and you build it into the word. But some of them have advantages and disadvantages. I haven't got time to look at that. So, first rule, if there's any help in the book for spelling, it's worth spending time in class to actually use that material. Don't always leave it for homework. Actually teach it in class to your students. And when you present new vocabulary, teachers very often present the meaning, but they don't so often present the spelling of the word. So present both at the same time. Those you can help. And in class, teach spelling. Just ask your class, what will be an easy way, for example, to write a word on the board and gradually, what? Gradually, why not put it on and then rub all of it? For example, if I'm teaching the word to spell bird, I might put B-I-R-D, and then the first thing I do, I take off the D. And then the next thing I do, I take off the B. And the last thing I do, I take off the IR. So I break it down so that the student is focusing on the word bit by bit. And why do I finish with the IR? Why don't I start with the IR? Because because the D and the B are fairly easy, but the IR is more difficult. Okay, another method we can use, you've mentioned some of these, is dictation, tests. Those can encourage students to focus on spelling. Okay, what does this method mean? Cued pair work. It's a very simple method to use. You take your textbook and you say to your students, student number 1, look at unit 1, choose 5 words, dictate them to your colleague. And your colleague must write them down. And then you say, student number 2, choose 5 words from unit 1, dictate them to your colleague. There is a technique called display strategies. In primary school you must use it, where you put the words on all around the classroom. Why would you do that? Because every day they will see the words and they will learn it without thinking about it, because they are looking at it. It's a memorization strategy. And you can have flashcards to help you with spelling. You can have posters with lexical families. And you can even have a spelling rule which you can put on the wall. I think we're going to have to finish. Yeah, okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
We're sorry.
We have to finish. Sorry. So, if you would like, there is a section of materials which I've got to help with spelling. If you'd like a copy of these, can you give me your email address now and I'll email it to you. We have to stop, sorry. Yeah. Okay?
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Steve. I think time is up. So
Yeah,
we have
it's just
enough time for comments.
have I got
Okay.
time for?
Is there someone in the another room who would like to ask just 1 or 2 questions from the ladies? I think.
Yeah.
No, I think David. So we'll take just 1 or 2
Yeah.
questions.
Excuse me.
Yes,
please.
Some of the ladies is asking, can we get your presentation, the PowerPoint?
Yes, if you can give your email address, are you allowed to do that?
Yes, yes. Can we
Okay.
get yours as well?
Yeah, I can give you mine now by dictation. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes.
Okay. We can, I think, you will find inshallah the presentation in our website, eldb.gov.sa. I think we will arrange with Mr.
Yeah.
Steve so that we can add it to our website. eldb.gov.sa. You will find it because there are many workshops and presentations will be there, inshallah, from all the speakers, inshallah. In this English Language Development Project, eldb.gov.sa.
.sa for Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Okay, I'm sorry I had to rush it, but I hope you had a bit of fun. I was enjoying. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think we have. Okay,
Yeah.
before concluding, I think we have just a small gift for you, Mr.
Oh.
Steve, from the on the forum. Yes,
I
please.
accept big gifts and small gifts. Okay. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. It's a memory of working in Saudi Arabia. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I think flat we'd like to take just a photo.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks.
Shame we didn't have time to
Sorry for
yeah. Yeah.